Hello, good morning. Do not adjust your set. This is episode 118 of Weekend Winners. Dave Orton stepping in for Kate Tracy, who's on a sojourn somewhere. You've probably seen it on her socials. You'll know better than us. This is Weekend Winners in association with Bet Victor. We're going to have a look at all the big weekend action, primarily Haydock, a bit of York, and then we'll pop across the channel and have a look at the Prix Du Jockey Club, shall we? Which is, of course, live on Sky Sports Racing. Don't forget, guys, safe gambling this weekend. There's loads to aim at. We are fully into silly season, and somewhere there is a link between me and, of course, your regulars on the show there. Silly season. It is, of course, Sam Boswell from Bet Victor and Declan Ricks back in your usual slot. Weekend Winners. It's taken you to about episode of 1112 to actually get that winner tag, lads, hasn't it? Because you've been doing quite well of late.
It's not a good start. You get a pay there. Obviously, you're going to sign us off straight away.
Listen,
bring back Enzo, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Listen, we filmed this early on a Friday morning. I was at the darts last night at the O2.
Hard life, eh?
I tell you what, I was sitting next to some absolute celebrities and I was telling them, this is not the
seat, Dave?
Potentially. Everyone else was printed, mine was written, so I think I was a late minute in. That was a great night, by the way. And again, it's an industry that keeps going, isn't it? But I reckon people with the two favourites getting to the final have got a bit to play up, Sam. What do you think? Is this a good betting weekend? It's after a classic lull, potentially.
I think this weekend traditionally may be a bit softer, but actually I thought looking through the cards, we've got some good action to go at, and I think you can make a case for a few. Hopefully Rixie can find us another big price winner after his recent efforts, and maybe I'll come in and find a shorty or two, Dave. I did manage to find two last week at least, but they weren't massive prices.
I'm glad you got that in. I was going to skirt over it. You did, was it 2 weeks ago? You had a worldie, didn't you? You've been sitting on one for 112 episodes.
yeah. Those were the first winners I put up in about 108.
That was a good weekend. That was Lockage Day, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was a good weekend, but last weekend was poor, so we're going to have to buck up our ideas this weekend.
Well, I stepped in for you on the other side, and everyone was like, oh, we've not got the in-depth analysis of deck. There are some people out there loving you, but apparently Kate asked last week who they want to present this, and I'm readily assured there was one comment.
Well, there was one comment. We couldn't afford Ross Briley, so we got you, Dave.
Yeah.
The amount of times that's come up in my career.
I wanted Lucy Verasamy, you couldn't afford her either.
All right. Listen, shall we cut to the chase, yes. Right? Okay, let's go to our first race of the day. It's 2:58. It is the Lester Piggott Fillies Stakes then up at Haydock. Let's get the market to you, set the scene, and we'll see what the gents think. Now, a strange, very much an unknown quantity. Sheevely Park, David O'Mara. This is the filly, isn't it? 2-1, Sam, that blew them apart on debut at Goodwood last year.
Yeah, that came on soft ground, Dave. Then the run at Yarmouth, I think you can defend it in the sense that she got stuck behind a few horses and it wasn't probably the clearest of passages. But what is really telling is Connections have said in all their quotes after she won at Doncaster, that came on softer ground as well. She's going to want ease in the ground. And I know Haydock at the start of the week had plenty of rain, but I would be concerned that there's not that much around as far as I could tell. I think with every moment that ground gets drier, I think she'll get pushed out in price. I think she'll drift. I think she's the sexy one in the race in terms of the unexposed angle, but I think she'll get a bit bigger. All
right, well, let's set the scene for some of the others. You've got Shahar for the Gosdens, of course, and that's Oisin Murphy, remains on fire. Beautiful Love is an interesting player for William Buick and Charlie Appleby. Then you've got Chorus, who must be better than her return, for William Haggis, who's got a good record in this race. And then we're, 12-1 bar. Deco, we mentioned the weather this weekend. There is a WhatsApp group, amazingly, for this show. I've been party to it this week, and it's been a lot of weather forecasting.
You've been contributing anything.
I've sat from afar.
Dave's only sent through his tips this morning on Friday.
I'm a creeper.
Producer Ben was tearing his hair out.
But tell me what you think the ground is going to be like.
Yeah, I think the ground, looking at the going stick reading, it's going to be good ground. I think at Haydock by Saturday if it's dry, and maybe good, getting on good to firm at York. So that's what I was operating on. So we'll see. It should be fair ground for everyone, I think.
And are you with Bozzy that you think this is going to drift?
Yeah, potentially. I can see that. There's only 8 runners in here, lads, and I don't see an awful lot of pace. I think maybe Our Golden one will go forward. Maybe Invisible Friend could get a little bit tactical. And I think Beautiful Love is the form horse. Like her American form last year and the second half of last season is absolutely the best form on offer. But I'm with Saha here for the Gosden team, who obviously won the race last season, and I'm hoping they can go in again. Unraced as a 2-year-old, only had 3 starts as a 3-year-old, and this was one of them on an artificial surface at Southall. And, you know, she just looks at a real work in progress.
Yeah.
She's by Cracksman. She's out of a mare called Board Meeting, who is 3-time Group 1 placed in her own career from a good Wildenstein family. So she's taken time to kind of come to herself and get there. But last time out in the Daisy Warwick Stakes at Warwick, despite drifting in the betting, it was a massive career best. And I just wonder now, is everything kind of fallen into line with her? She was a good winner that day. She really travelled into the race nicely. Kieran Schumacher actually took a pull going to 3 out, despite not being in a good position given the pace. But she just had too much gears, too much class, and she just really looks to be hitting her straps now.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like about her, and I think she'll take a little bit of beating here.
A strong form as well, isn't it? Santorini Star that she beat there. She's a good filly.
Estrange was high on my list, but the Gossens have a good line on her because Danielle was second to Estrange at Doncaster last year, I think, in the Gillies Fillies. So they've got a good line on her, and I'm with Saha. I think she just looks like now she's finally kind of growing into that pedigree. 1
tick for Saha. I'm afraid I'm going to make it 2, Sam. Is it going to be 3?
No, I'm Beautiful Love here. I think Charlie Appleby at the moment, I mean, crikey, he's got so much raw talent in that yard, hasn't he? And operating at a 50% strike rate at the moment. This horse is a typical horse of his in terms of achieved so much globe-trotting. We're watching her here 4th at the Breeders' Cup.
This piece of form here is undoubtedly the standout piece of form, isn't it, the Breeders' Cup?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see the form line with See the Fire, isn't it? Who, of course, slammed her at York last time.
But, Dave, do you remember in the betting just how big a drifter she was? She went off a double-digit price, something like 12 to 1 that day, having been installed, I think, as about third, second favourite, something like that in the race. I think you can put a line through it. I thought her reappearance as well at Newmarket was fine. What was she? 4 lengths behind the winner, Cinderella's Dream, who's going to be heading to the Breeders' Cup, judging by quotes after that race. And El Manca was only just in front, obviously, last year's 1,000 Guineas winner. So Beautiful Love for me. The drier it gets, the better her chances. Back up in trip will be a huge plus for her as well. I just felt Estrange for me at 2 to 1 was the one that would drift a move, and Beautiful Love could be the one that will shorten. What
price does Estrange become a more attractive proposition deck? People will be wondering that.
Yeah, I can see Saha going off favourite myself, especially given she's proven over the trip and she's got a run under her belt, and that she'd be fine on good ground. I could see Saha maybe going off 7 to 4 and Estrange maybe 5 to 2. It'll be interesting to see what the market goes with Beautiful Love, because as Sam correctly points out, she was a stinking drifter last time out at York and ran accordingly.
Yeah, that Breeders' Cup form does catch the eye, doesn't it? OK, all right, we're taking on the Fav in the 258. It's the Lester Piggott Fillies Stakes. What are you doing? Get your comments in below. We'll have to read those each week. All right, let's move on, shall we? This is, of course, called John Of Gaunt weekend. John Gaunt Stakes, John O. Gaunt. There's often a debate about it. It is John O. Gaunt, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
John O. Gaunt. Yeah, you can Google who John O. Gaunt was, of course. And talking about class links, 3:33 over the 7 furlongs, a real specialist race that, and we do have some classy individuals. I know the audience is the 100 to 30 favourite with you, Sam, but there's only one place we've got to start, and that's the 5 to 1 shot, isn't it? Good old Kinross.
Everyone's favourite Kinross, who, I mean, I went back through the form book, Dave. First time out Kinross, you've got to go back to 2021, the last time was successful on reappearance. And has got to give a bit of weight away here, which I think would be a big concern for me.
Yep.
Not getting any younger, although historically this race has seen some older horses do quite well in it in the past in terms of winning it. For me, I am going to leave the old boy Kinross alone and go with the slightly younger favourite in audience, who at 7 furlongs, he's a 7 furlong horse, isn't he? And I think so many people kind of didn't give him the credit he deserved at Newbury when he took the Lockinge last year.
That's over a mile.
That's over a mile, but then he went to Goodwood, didn't he? And he followed up over 7. He had some sort of iffy runs in between. But
You're suggesting this is a fluke?
Fluke's probably a harsh word, but I think he kind of probably maybe got the run of the race, didn't he? I think that would be the fairest way
you've been in this game a long time, Sam. You can see why.
Let's be diplomatic. But you go back in the Goodwood run where he wins the Lennox over 7. I thought that was really strong and that's a Group 2. I think the Ascot run as well, you put a line through that because it was soft ground. The Meydan effort, I suppose, is the slightly confusing one, because Deck was telling me before the show we were having a chat, and he was like, he actually views it as a bit of a negative that he's had that run in Meydan, because he tends to go well so fresh, you were pointing out to me, which I think was fair.
He's got a good record fresh, but to be fair to him, the run out in Meydan, he was drawn out on the wing, wasn't he? And probably
never really got into
6 at this level is probably maybe just a little bit sharp for him. Sam rightly points out, like that Lockinge win and the Lennox Stakes form is head and shoulders above anything
Yeah.
here. If the vibes about him are good, I could easily see him going off shorter than 130.
Well, the market will be absolutely key here, I think, won't it? We've got the emerging Al Yanabi. Can I say emerging?
He's a 4-year-old.
that was a yes noise.
In this kind of company, he'd still be emerging.
And then we've got the likes of course, Spycatcher. You've got Room Surface. He's definitely emerging. I like the 10 Bob Tony angle for this year. Maybe not this race necessarily. He's drawn in 2, Ed Walker. William Buick. He's been gelded. He was a classy animal at the start of last season as well. Then you've got Kukuli, who's coming right back on a... I mean, if you think back to last year's Jersey, we know he's got it in him. Volterra could be a pace angle deck, right?
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted you've mentioned pace, Dave, because there is a mountain of pace on here. Audience, Alanabi can go forward, 10 Bob Tony, you know, Volterra, Gray's Monument. There is a mountain of pace on here. 12 runners in the first bend of that 7 furlong start at Haydock. It comes up quick, doesn't it? It's going to be helter-skelter here going through the first bend, and I think horses drawn low will be favoured, just getting a nice clean run through early. But I'm with Audience, with Sam as well. I think 130 is a fair price, but I wanted to give a mention to a horse at a big price here who's not even priced on that graphic. He is, or she is indeed, in the bar, and that's Tiger Bay of Henry Candy's. Now, I don't know if we do have regular viewers on Weekend Winners, but if we do, they will know that I'm a bit of a Henry Candy fanboy. Love Henry Candy. Last year was not a good year for the
Good start this year.
I think he had 3 winners last season. He's already on 3 this year. So whatever was going on at the yard, it looks like they're happier, healthier and better form. And this filly is not out of it, especially when you factor in her mare Sex Allowance. Now, she finished 3rd in a listed race at Pontefract last season, rated 78. And at the time, I was thinking, oh, she really lets down this form. But I think she's proven that that run to be, you know, not a fluke. And then this year, 4 weeks ago in the Chandler Stakes at Newmarket, she's actually got improved again.
Yeah.
This was her run earlier last season at Windsor, but she's turned into a completely different filly since this race. You can see her there in the pink cap down by the rail. She just gets run out of it a little bit late. But what she did last time out in the Chandler Stakes, it was another big career best. And I love the way she hit the line. She was pricking her ear, suggesting she had loads left. She was really stretching late. She looked in great order. And the horse that she beat that day, Frost at Dawn, is it, or Dawn at Frost?
Won a listed race.
Yeah, won a listed race next time out.
Yeah.
And he didn't go too quick on the front end so for her to run him down, I thought was a massive performance. Now look, this could all be too much for her because this is comfortably going to be the biggest race of her career, but she's a massive price. She's got a good draw, and she's just shaped last time out like she could even be better again over 7. A trip she's already won over.
Well, he's having a swing of the bat, but let me temper some enthusiasm there. You think this is a swing of the bat race, don't you? You tend to find horses like Audience on, I don't want to say a recovery mission, but a horse that might have found optimum conditions, the market tends to push them out a little bit. In the last 10 years, no SP bigger than 17-2. And so, again, I wish you luck with that project.
Do you really, though? Who are you with?
For how many years, Dave, would you get horses like Kinross and Audience turning up, in fairness to Declan?
Well, Kinross won this 4 years ago, but last year he's gelded, old, and I think he'll need a few runs. What about Spycatcher? I looked at this race and thought he would like the pace setup.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think he got a good ride from James Doyle last time out, didn't he? It was at the Cammage he won.
Yeah.
There was a significant headwind, I remember that day at Donny, and he was given a good ride. I did have him on my shortlist, but I just wondered. I think the only time he's been to Haydock here, he disappointed. So I had a long shortlist, and I scrapped him off for that reason. Is that who you're with?
I'm going to give... look, this is at 8-1. I think he'll run his race, and I think the setup is good for him. He's got a pretty good draw. He's a periphery Group 1 horse, isn't he? We know that. That often tends to come in France or on Championsdale, something like that. And if there is some, a precipitation in the ground, that will suit him. It would be Spycatcher for me. So, Deck, you're going with the outside of the lot.
I'm with Audience, but I'm going to play Tiger Bay without Audience, and maybe also without Audience and Alanabi as well. That's the way I'm going to play this race.
Right, OK, he's finally got his without.
It wouldn't be a weekend show without a weekend.
Absolutely.
Without
They only make the markets for you.
Very, very underrated market.
There you go.
All right, OK, Samuel.
Audience for me. I think Jonathan Gosden's good form will continue, and I think this is perfect conditions really for him to make his mark back over 7.
There you go then, it's John Of Gaunt. It's one of the feature races of Saturday. Who are you with? Keep the comments in coming below. Tell us your big race plays. And we've got to go to York now. It's always a really good Saturday this up in York. All the race goes pop in. And the feature race pretty much is the Bronte Cup, which is over the mile 6. The Fillies Stakes you can see there. Scenic, Ed Walker. Terms of Endearment. Now with William Haggis, of course. Last year's winner when with Henry de Bromhead. You've got Swano for the Gosdens. Eye catcher last time out. The really reliable Davinia Grace. Then your 10-1 bar.
Right, quick quiz time. Who rode Terms of Endearment to win this race last season?
I know the answer, so I won't give it away.
Rachel Blackmore.
There we go.
He knew the answer as well. We all knew the answer.
Grand Nationals, Champion
Yeah.
Hurdles and Group 3 races on the flat. Easy game.
I think we're good now, though, with... Shall we start with Terms of Endearment then, Sam? Because 3-1, now Yulong, of course, who we've seen, it's been a sort of international ploy for Yulong Investments to buy these big fillies. They tend to end up down under, maybe in Hong Kong. We've seen it. It's worked very well done. Doesn't always work, however. And was there enough in her comeback run to prompt punters to make her fav?
Yeah, she ended up sort of, I think we initially, bear in mind these are very early markets, so we can't read too much in them. I think we installed her as fav, but she's been usurped by Scenic, who I think both of them set a fair level of form here. In Terms of Endearment, for me, was where I came down on the race. I know that the ground might be slightly on the quicker side, but she did win at Goodwood on good to firm, and I'd say Goodwood good to firm will be slightly quicker than what she'll get on Saturday here. Going back to back, obviously, I don't want to be disrespectful to Henry de Bromhead, but I'd say the fact that it's now with William Haggis is a trainer upgrade of sorts. You know, Henry's a very, very good jumps trainer.
Sorry, Henry.
He's a very good jumps trainer, but is it not a little bit horses for courses in the sense that William Haggis is an outstanding flat trainer? Not that Henry's a bad one. Just
Won group races on the flat all over the place.
Yeah, I just think.
Poor old Henry, huh?
Oh, all right.
Needs a couple of fences to shine.
Anyway, either way, I just felt back to back.
What you're saying is she's going to find another 5 lengths this year.
I think she'll improve a bit, won't she? And like, this is a perfect kind of race. Obviously a previous winner of it. I'd be very disappointed if it's not there or thereabouts. Scenic, I'm just not sold on at the same sort of price at around 11-4. I think if you can get slightly bigger in terms, if we get 7-2, I'd be taking that all day. I think Sumo could well shorten with the jockey booking, of course. Very eye-catching to punters out there on a Saturday. Love backing right more.
William Haggis, Newmarket trainer, loves York. I've had that in my ear from the producers on this show. Oldest
Well,
cliche.
he's a Yorkshire man, isn't he?
Have you put another 0 on your sort of bottom line each year, sort of, because they do tend to get a bit over bet up at York, don't they?
Yeah, they do a little bit. But I think 3-1's fair. And like I say, I wouldn't mind a few more runners in here. I do think we need to look at the race book a little bit, maybe. It feels a little bit of a shame that they've... What is this, a 100-grand race, and they've not managed to get...
Well, it's just ridiculous race planning. You've got the Lester Piggott Stakes and this race on the same weekend. It's just... the fixture list is a disgrace, but we won't go there right now.
Well, I mean, look, we won't get too political, but if you look at the layoffs that these, or the breaks that these filly have, I think it's only the outside of Crystal Flyer, who is running less than a month away. So they're all 75, 55, 66. So the races for these guys are few and far between. So that puts me off this race a little bit, in that I'd say 4 or 5 of these have got a cup final target with it potentially. I am drawn to Swano, Deck, I've got to be honest. The Gosners have got the unexposed Jane Temple in there, back on turf as well. Tell me about Swano. I think that form's going to be reversed.
Well, you sound keener on Honour than me, so you make the case.
Are you with Scenic?
I'm with Scenic.
Are you? All right.
Yeah, but we're not with...
Big eye catcher, wasn't it, Swano? I thought this was one of the bets of the weekend. Ryan Moore now in.
Didn't. It was given. I think she was a significant drifter in the betting, if I remember correctly, and she
22-1 she went off.
Yeah, and then she had quite a bit of significant trouble in the run as well, didn't she? But I thought Scenic held her pretty well. Now, to be honest, I had Scenic on the shortlist, Terms of Endearment on the shortlist, and Sueno on the shortlist, and Davina Grace kind of, but Davina Grace, I know, Davina Grace got a penalty, so that's not going to be easy for her. So she got wiped off the list. And look, I could, if anyone wants to make the case for the top 3 in the betting, I can absolutely see it. The only reason I sided with Scenic is York form. I just think it's always a track, you know, horses for courses. Some of her best runs have come here. I think she's run 3 times here. She's won here, and I think she's been placed here as well. So
it is one of those tracks, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just it just is one of those tracks. But look, I wouldn't have any great confidence with her, because I think she's had 16 career starts and she's only managed to win twice. And I've always had just a tiny question about her attitude, but I'm hoping she'll go and win, and then she can question my attitude about questioning hers, because she is absolutely good enough to win this race, and her career best did come at this track last year.
She's a 5-year-old now. We all learn, don't we, as we get older? I thought at Swano, if you look at the breeding, it's all mile 6 as well on the dam side. This has definitely been the plan. And maybe something like the Lancashire Oaks might figure after this.
And we shouldn't as well forget, I think the Gosden's horse are probably stepping forward for a second time out run, because like a lot of trainers, he said it now a couple of times in interviews the last 3 or 4 weeks, haven't been able to get on the grass because it's been so firm.
Yeah.
So they've had a bit of rain this week, so might just help a lot of these horses.
You really wouldn't be shocked, Dave, actually, market-wise, if your selection ends up usurping the 2 that Declan and I have spoken about favourably, and ends up favourite. The Ryan Moore factor is significant out there on a Saturday for punters.
It's interesting Moore goes up to Haydock or to York on Saturday. I wonder, is he gone there for one ride in particular, or
this is the one.
He's got 2 or 3.
This is the one you've convinced me.
This is the one you were hoping for anyway.
I absolutely am. Yeah, listen, it's a bit of an
muddling, isn't
force.
it? Let's be honest. We've all come up with different angles into the race, and we can all see.
And if you wanted another different angle, Gary Nutting, who does the anti-post focus on atraces.com, he's put up a Lonzy to 25. So.
Just to help us even more. I mean, how many bets are we allowed to have? All right, OK, let's try and get one on top then. Swano for me with a big hand up, actually.
OK, I'm going to go with Scenic, just hoping her course form comes to the fore.
In terms of endearment, to go back-to-back for me?
You can tell on that WhatsApp group, which is throughout the week, we've done a lot of work on this race. We've ended up with the top 3 in the market. Hopefully that's helped you. Let us know below. All right, OK, let's move on, shall we? It's time to go across the channel. Vive la France. The classic weekend does continue, of course. Many people will be seeing Sunday as the jewel in the crown. Unbelievable card at Chantilly. 18 stand their ground in the Prix Du Jockey Club. 18. These are best prices available out there, Sam, I believe, because you're looking at the race.
Yeah, we're kind of putting the prices in now as we go, so these are sort of a bit more of a market guide price than directly ours necessarily, but it's very likely Camille Pizarro, that sounds like an Italian football, but actually named after a Danish-French painter.
A little bit of useless knowledge there.
There we go. A bit of culture to the show, Dave.
You didn't answer who John Of Gaunt was, so assuming it is a person, of course. All right, so look, here we go, 7 to 2.
Sam's here talking Dutch painters, and you're going to the darts.
Absolutely.
Obviously going to likely be the market leader, as the betting there suggests. And I think this horse you can make a strong case for, but there's so much depth in here. It is a really, really interesting contest. The draw obviously has a factor here. Dec, I know you kind of done a bit of work on this, the draw.
Have I?
Where do we want to be? Well, Dave, you were talking to someone that was very disappointed with their draw.
Oh, Charlie Fellows. Yeah, absolutely. Monsieur Fellows, they're calling him at the moment.
I'm going to absolutely steal this from you now. Did you not say to Charlie Fellows on the channel yesterday that there's only been one double-figure winner for stall, no?
So you haven't done any work. Yes, OK, I did the work on this, and of course, when I'm talking to a trainer, you have to actually look like you know what you're talking about most of the time. Yeah, there's only one, and it was a very good horse now as well. Play the guessing game. The viewers will be typing away in the comments and telling us who it was.
Was it?
It wasn't Lope de Vega. Very much like the chances of Rodari, but we've got to concentrate, of course, on that French 2,000 guineas form won by Henri Matisse a couple of weeks ago, which is always the precursor to this race. And I think there were 4 or 5 that took it in, weren't they? Including Luther, who is around about a 12 to 1, 10 to 1 shot at the moment. Yeah,
the favourite for me, I just feels that step forward in trip. Just the page screams that that's going to be an absolutely great idea for this horse. And I suppose I just really like the idea that we're going to see something a bit different. Ryan Moore's drawn in 1. I don't really... draws the draw. He's got to work with it. It's factored into the price, isn't it?
Taking his time anyway.
Yeah.
You weren't unhappy when 1 came out, though, were you?
No, but I personally always like those sort of slightly off-the-rail kind of options, so it gives you a bit more choice. But I think this horse is a really interesting prospect. And obviously last year was a very busy horse, ran 7 times.
Yeah.
Plenty of bits and pieces of form.
And one of those runs was in the sales race at Donny. How many horses have kind of got, that won a French Derby, have got form over 6.5?
So,
and then
Camille Pizarro, let's of course start there then, OK? So this was the 2-year-old that was blowing them away last year, and you've already referenced the fact that he ended up in a sales race at Donny, and then it was until he went to the Lagardère in France, the further he went, the better he looked, and is he now coming good?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
As a Group 1 winner, that might seem a bit odd to say,
Yeah.
but Aidan O'Brien in print this week has said we think he's something of an underachiever.
Yeah, and we have seen this before, haven't we, with horses that when they get a little bit older. They do improve, and maybe he's showing something at home that potentially we haven't quite seen as consistently on the racetrack. But, you know, he's had who should have been the 2,000 Guineas winner in behind him previously, hasn't he? And then, you know, he's obviously gone on last weekend and won the Irish 2000. I think there's just a lot to like about his profile for this. And, you know, Aidan's record when he goes raiding abroad is just so strong. There's just too many tick boxes to get carried away. A couple of others in there, though, Dave, that I think you could make cases for.
Right, OK, so let's, before we make those cases and see if something might reverse that form or whether he is indeed going to be the pick for Deck as well, stretching out in form, let's go back on the roll call of honour. The horse that was in double figures that won it was in 2015. It's a brilliant roll call of honour for this race. And I'm wondering, it's a stallion. Oh, most of them are stallions in this race. Most of them, this is a stallion maker. The Prix Du Jockey Club. It's New Bay, all right? So that was stall 13 for Andre Farr.
He's turned out to be.
Yeah, brilliant sire. Then you had, but the rest of them have all been in single figures. You then had Almanzor, Bramto, Study of Man, Sotsas, Mishrif, St Mark's Basilica, Aidan's only winner of this race, of course. Verdini, Ace Impact, and Look de Vega as well. Who's going to be the next poster boy stallion out of this lot? Camille Pissarro for Sam.
Well, if we're talking stallions, I'm going to jump in here because if that's what we want, King of Cities is the horse because he has got a pedigree. He is out of Amjan Princess, who is out of Ream 3, and she is a blue hen. That family is incredible. This guy's related to Inisherin. He's also from the family of, is it Triple Time, the Kevin Ryan winner, the Queen Anne. You've got Kate Byron in there.
He's been supplemented for this, right?
Yeah, he has been supplemented for the race, which is really interesting. You know, I'm going to keep going with this pedigree because you've got Kate Byron in there. You've also got Ostilio. It is an incredible pedigree, and to top it all off, he's by Dubawi. Now, this is his run last season, his third run of the season at Newbury in the Haynes, Hanson and Clark, which sounds like a letting agency, but it's a good race. You've had some good winners of this down through the years. And I was just looking at, he ran 3 times last year at Newmarket, Chester and Newbury, and every time he went there, he ran over a mile first time out. I was like, oh, did he quite stay? Maybe still a bit weak. Then he won at Chester over 7, quickened up really smartly, and then just maybe didn't quite get home there. And, you know, he didn't shape like he was going to be a superstar like his pedigree suggested he would be. But what he did last time out in the Fielding Stakes at Newmarket, a massive, massive jump forward from 2 to 3, just in line with his pedigree. Now, that was over 9 furlongs, the same day that his stablemate Persica won the Earl of Sefton. Got a good reading of the time. The time was outrageous compared to what Persica did, and that's even before you factor in weight for age, which I think is about 10 pounds at that time of year. It looks like a really strong race. Nightwalker was back in third. Now, that's not his trip, and he was a drifter in the market that day, but he's gone on to boost the form, I would say, in the Dante. Everything about that race looks like it's decent, and I just think he's absolutely the most overpriced horse in this race. Now, Sean Levy was doing the Ballydoyle pacemaking, which we need to reference in the French 2000 Guineas, because that was a really strong run race. He's suspended this week, so James Doyle gets the ride.
All right, so James Doyle takes out the Prix Du Jockey Club.
Well, I don't know. He needs to improve, and I just wonder, is he man enough for this race? But I think he's absolutely overpriced on ability.
Don't like Camille Pissarro at the price?
Yeah, I think you could say that a lot of those horses in the French 2000 Guineas were a little bit flattered, kind of coming off a really strong gallop. There's a bit of pace collapse that day.
Samuel.
Dave, 2 to mention for Andre Farr, that man, and they're both really, really interesting profiles. You've got Sunday Sletto, who's turning up off 1 career start, and it was a win, but that's a really, really bold sort of move, isn't it?
Sinaleo in 4, very interesting. Yeah. Got the draw,
whereas the one I actually liked, unfortunately didn't get the draw, which is Entirely, who I think is a really intriguing runner. He's out in, I think, what was he, drawn 18, which isn't where you want to be. But he might just outrun his price. He's been seen 3 times, only beaten the once, and they've earmarked the fact that they think that he'll go further and further. And he's another one that's got a really nice page related to some good stayers in there as well. So they were a couple for Andre Farr that I thought caught the eye. But It's a great race, isn't it? I must say, there's sort of angles into it, however which way you like. For all, I've come down on the favourite, like a very unoriginal pick.
Camille Pissarro looks sure to be a frame horse, doesn't he? I think absolutely right. I can see Radari wherever he goes going with him. I thought he was the one to take out of that 2,000 guineas there. I don't really like the hood, you know. I don't like hoods, and it's stall 11 as well. I can see Beaumont running well. So look, this is 18 runners. I think we've given it some weight now. Time to move on, guys. Camille Pissarro.
King of Cities, please.
King of Cities. I think Beaumont's going to go well for Tom Marquand. He's a horse in the ascendancy. There you go. That's the Prix Du Jockey Club. And those are the best of the weekend winners that we're going to give you until, of course, the next section, which is the best bets. Best bet time then, as promised, as we move to the soft set. I can see why Kate Tracy likes this gig. It's nice that we get to cross our legs.
Just to work with us.
Look, we're all crossing our legs. It's all chilled out, isn't it, on a Friday morning? It's all ahead of us. Best bet time then. Who's going first?
Well, let's find some winners, shall we? And we're going to kick off with the John Of Gaunt. I just really like audience this week. It's going to be my nap. I'm convinced that the 7 furlongs on this ground is exactly what the horse needs, and hopefully Rab Hadlin can get another big day out of this horse. Of course, gave him one of the biggest of his career.
Next best?
Next best, I've struggled this week a little bit, so I'm going to go with the Godolphin horse, I think, up at Haydock. I really, really think she is the one to be with. I'm convinced that the ground drying will be in her favour. We've got a favourite in there that I think is possibly a bit too short, which makes us get a much bigger price. About a horse that's been one of those fantastic globetrotters for a team that are banging form. I mean, 50% strike rate for Charlie Appleby. I don't care how good your horses are. If you're hitting those kind of levels, he's got to have, hopefully, I think, a big chance to land another big prize up at Haydock.
That is a ridiculous strike rate, isn't it? It's a hard ask to do it all year round, but 50% strike rate is going well so far. What do you reckon about that out there? Long shot.
I'm going to put my faith in Andre Farb. I'm going to go to the race that we just covered in great detail. And as much as I like Camille Pissarro for Aidan O'Brien, I just think it's really curious that he's thrown 2 darts in here. I'm going to go for the one that's in, sadly, the worst draw. Nitoir. I just wondered if the talk about this horse, he wants further, he's going to get further. I just think he could produce a bit of a shock, and it'll be a double-digit price as well, Dave.
Catherine Ford, our resident French expert, when I spoke to her on Thursday on the channel, I saw her 1, 2, 3. Nitoir was bang at the top, then the draw came out and there was a line through it. All right.
Thanks, Dave. Confidence.
My point being that Nitoir with a low draw would have been nearly Camille Pissarro-y.
The price as well.
Yeah,
but
it definitely does. It definitely does.
Before we move on to my best bets, can I just congratulate Sam on mentioning Andre Farb twice and then not following with the master trainer?
It goes hand in hand, doesn't it? We've already had William Aggis and York. What else have we got? Ripon, the Garden Racecourse. Bring them all out.
Anytime you watch anyone mentioning Andre Farb, the master trainer, it winds me up so bad.
Yeah, OK. Well, I'm on the channel on Friday. I'm going to say this a few times, I think, now, just to wind Deck up. All right, they're your plays, right?
The master tipster, we better get his now.
Well, absolutely. And I wonder if you've actually have done some work and gone away from all the weekend winners we've already gone for. Like Sam was just like, I think I'll sandwich mine up.
There was plenty of races. There was 2 or 3 races at York that I wanted to have a look at, but they haven't been priced up yet, But the nap and the nap and the long shot have been discussed. And the nap for me this week is also going to be a John Gostin run, and that's going to be Saha in the Lester Piggott Stakes by Cracksman out of a good mare called Board Meeting. I think she was a proper good filly herself. 3 times placed in Group 1, so I think she's finally grown into that pedigree now. Last time out in the Daisy Warwick was a massive step forward, and I just think she's hitting her straps now. So she will do for me for the Gostins. And then the next best, like Sam, I probably struggled a little bit around here, and the race isn't priced up yet. But Urban Glimpse, the 425 at York on Saturday, is a belting 3-year-old handicap. Really warm race. I think there's going to be lots of winners come out of it throughout the season. Just hope the ground doesn't get too quick for the Son of Cityscape, but Andrew Balding and PJ McDonald have been teaming up to great success recently, and this is another one that I hope can go in. Just want to hope the ground doesn't get too quick for him, but he's a lovely, lovely horse. And then the long shot we've also discussed, it's going to be Tiger Bay and the John Of Gaunt. Really like her. I'm convinced she's drastically overpriced, especially if she does stay the 7 furlongs now. I think I'll be playing her in the straight market, but I'll be also looking at markets without audience, because if he's in peak condition, he will go there, and there's other markets there without audience, Alan Abbey. So that's the way I'm going to be playing the best bets this weekend.
I could listen to you try and do that word salad over and over again. This is double bubble with Deck for me as well on a Friday morning. Absolute madness. All right, OK. Now, this is the bit I imagine if you're just joining in the show, this is why you've scrolled along, right, to get to Dave Orton's number 1, 2, 3. The rest of the show's great, guys. Go back and have a listen. They half know what they're talking about. But the majority that are coming in at this point, I understand why. The best bet of the weekend, 113 at Haydock in the opener. Look no further than Shader. Do you know who this guy is?
Judd Mont.
Gosden.
3-1-1 form figures.
He's 3-1-1 form figures. You didn't go for this one. That's interesting. No. Gelded. Form worked out really well. It's all. This is a group horse in a handicap 100%. Got a good draw. He'll take out the opener, I think. And Swano in the 3:15 in the Bronte Cup, stretching out. Ryan Moore, Strawbridge, Gosden's. We're eyeing at 3:15, and then the long shot, which I must admit, I was kind of like, there could have been 10 long shots this week. You could have gone for in a typically nuclear sort of like Haydock sprint. I think Woven is overpriced. 1 of 2 for Michael Dodds. He's got a couple of stalwarts in there, but I think Woven, he didn't run too badly on his return at Donny. He likes the track.
Is that the JM Jungle race?
It's at Haydock, this one. It's not
at
at
Haydock,
York. Yeah.
sorry. I was on
no, because JM Jungle's a York specialist, right? And I thought you were going to put him up in your 3.
JM Jungle just got ousted by Urban Glimpse for me.
Yeah, all right, OK. So Woven, I think again, it's a Haydock sprint. Anything can happen. I think you were offering around about 12s at the time, something like that. Yeah. That constitutes a long shot?
Yeah, well
I've heard the Deck. Last time I was on this show, Kate told me you put up a 30-2 shot once and claimed it.
Look, sometimes these things happen, Dave.
All right, listen, great stuff. I've genuinely enjoyed this, lads. It's an absolute pleasure. I hope you have as well. Don't worry, Kate Tracy will be back next week. Well, of course, we're looking ahead to the Derby. We love a bit of Epsom.
The week after that was Royal Ascot.
Yeah.
Where is
I know, so it's all go. You can see why I was in for John Of Gaunt weekend now, can't you? She's played a blinder as Tracy. Lads, thanks for your time. Thanks for your best bets. This has been Weekend Winners. Don't forget, loads to aim at this weekend. Do gamble responsibly, people. See you the same time next week.